My dog Forrest that I just talked about, he went to a previous daycare in the area and we don't know what happened to him, but he was fearful of any other human and any other dogs. They know when I'm coming, they see my car and they get excited. They're usually halfway out the door into the car.
Welcome back to Tales of Fluff. I'm AJ.
And I'm Emily. Today's episode is one we think a lot of dog parents and future dog parents are really going to connect with.
We're talking about what happens when dogs aren't home, the friendships they form, the routines they fall into, and the people who become part of their everyday world.
Because daycare isn't just about playtime, it's about trust, structure, and creating a space where dogs can truly be themselves.
Today we're joined by Rachel, the owner of K9 Wonderland, a dog daycare that has quickly grown into a place built on connection, transparency, and truly knowing each dog as an individual.
She shares how K9 Wonderland got started, what makes her approach different, and the incredible bonds she's seen form.
So let's jump in. We started by asking when K9 Wonderland first opened and what inspired her to take that leap.
Opened in May of 2023. And to get started, my mom sold her business, a totally different business, and I didn't want to be in the corporate world anymore. I decided this was my chance and I took it. I have 5 of my own dogs. And so this way I could stop rescuing dogs and play with other people's dogs and give them back home.
I really liked how honest she was about not wanting to stay in the corporate world anymore. She chose dogs, community, and connection instead.
And 5 dogs of her own, plus a job where she gets to love on other people's dogs all day and then send them home happy. Honestly, that sounds like a dream.
It really does. And it sets the tone for everything else she shared. This wasn't just a business idea. It's something you can tell comes from her passion for dogs. With that being said, we wanted to know what she loves most about the work she does.
I love the families. I love the dogs and their families. I love that I've become close with the families.
Her answer wasn't just the dogs, it was also the families and how important that bond is as well when caring for someone's pet.
You can tell how much that bond matters to her. It explains why the dogs are so comfortable there. And at K9 Wonderland, they don't just do drop offs, they also offer a shuttle service using Rachel's SUV. So we wanted to know more about that service and whether the dogs recognize it as their ride to their favorite place.
We don't have a shuttle bus anymore. We have my SUV because nobody's really using it, only a few people. But they know where to go because I open the back hatch and they jump in. But they know when I'm coming. They see my car and they get excited. They're usually halfway out the door into the car.
How amazing is it that the dogs recognize her vehicle and are practically jumping into the SUV?
That says everything you need to know. If dogs are excited to leave their house and run toward daycare, you're doing something right.
And even though the shuttle looks a little different, that trust is still there. They know exactly where they're going and they're happy about it.
Exactly. She must feel so proud of the connections she has with those dogs. So, obviously, K9 Wonderland is an amazing daycare, but that isn't all they do. They also offer grooming services. We asked Rachel what is the most dramatic transformation she's seen through their grooming services.
So I'm not the groomer, but I honestly, everything is dramatic to me because most of the time they're shaggy or they're matted when they come in and they come out a completely different dog. She has started to do hair dye on the dogs. So the neatest one I've seen is we did a mohawk on one dog on a doodle with a orange mohawk.
The grooming transformations were such a fun part of this conversation.
From matted and shagging to completely transformed. And then the creative grooming on top of that, like the orange mohawk on a doodle, that is absolutely adorable.
It was lighthearted, but it also showed how much care goes into making dogs feel good and confident. And speaking of confidence, when it comes to daycare with dogs of all sizes and personalities, We want to know if she's ever seen a bond form between two dogs she didn't expect.
I have. One of my dogs, Forrest, didn't like any other dogs. And now he comes 3 days a week and he has the same dogs and they're best of friends and they play. You would think that they miss each other when they're not with each other.
It's amazing to hear about dogs who didn't like other dogs at first, but slowly formed a real friendship.
Especially hearing about Forrest. It's such a good reminder that dogs can change when they feel safe and supported.
And those consistent routines are what makes that growth possible. Our next question is for those that wonder what their dog is actually doing when they're not around or watching the cameras. So we asked Rachel what she notices about the dogs that might surprise their owners.
That they're truly not buttholes like their parents say they are. Um, each dog acts differently with their parents or their owners. I call them parents, but they get very attached to their person. And when they're in daycare, it's like they can just relax and have fun and be a dog and not have to worry about where their owner is and to protect them. So it's pretty neat to see them actually play.
So what you're saying is that the movie Life with Pets is actually based off a real story?
Pretty much, it is. If you watch the camera, you would see them following me around like I'm their owner.
That part about dogs not being as naughty as their owners think was pretty funny, especially owning dogs ourselves.
But she's absolutely right. Dogs can behave differently when they're relaxed and not in protection mode.
Yeah, and how she pointed out daycare gives them space to just be dogs, basically, to play, to rest, to exist without worrying about where their person is. That makes so much sense. However, not all dogs have the same needs or mobility, depending on age or health. So, we wanted to know how their daycare supports those dogs.
So we're a kennel-free daycare. All the daycares around us believe in kennels. We don't. We only use kennels for boarding. And so we have a side separated for them where they'll come in and when they're ready to go, they tell you they're ready to go to the gate and they're ready to go in. My daycare pretty much if they lay on the floor, the other dogs know just to leave whoever's laying on the floor alone. They'll find their spot where they're comfy and when they're ready to play again, they get back up.
I really appreciated her explanation of being a kennel free daycare. It's incredible to know that dogs have the freedom to play and move naturally.
And the older dogs or dogs with mobility issues can rest when they need to and play when they're ready. That shows so much respect for their boundaries and truly allows them to just be dogs.
And the fact that other dogs understand that too, that says a lot about the environment she's created. But not every dog is a social butterfly. Since she has such an open environment, we wanted to know if she's ever seen a dog come in unsure or anxious and really come out of its shell after time at daycare.
My dog Forrest that I just talked about, he went to a previous daycare in the area and we don't know what happened to him, but he was fearful of any other human and any other dog. To this day, he doesn't let strangers touch him. You can't go anywhere near his head if he doesn't know you. But it took him, we did 1 day a week to start out for a couple of weeks. Then we went to 2 days a week and then now 3 days. So he does daycare, takes a break, daycare. And just the difference in him where he now trusts any handler that's in the daycare is just night and day from it took him about 6 to 8 weeks to get comfortable being in the environment again with daycare and different handlers.
Forrest's story was such a powerful example of patience paying off.
6 to 8 weeks of gradual exposure, and now he trusts the handlers. What an accomplishment.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that progress doesn't happen overnight. But when it does, it's life changing. Our next question focused on the boarding side of K9 Wonderland and how they help dogs who struggle with separation anxiety.
So we have two different types of boarding. If I see a dog that is anxious or has separation anxiety, I have two suites in my daycare for boarding that have windows. They're windows that don't open, but they can still see out. So I will put them in there at no extra cost to the family of the dog, and it seems to calm them down. We have TVs in the suites where we play either calming music or dog TV, it's called. And as long as they can see out that window, it seems to calm them down. They don't feel like they're trapped. They can't get out. I had a dog that went to other boarding facilities and tore up their kennels, broke out, damaged things, injured himself. And even the first time he came by me, I put him by the window and he was completely fine. So it's nice that I have the windows and they can see out, and then the parents can watch on camera to see that they're doing okay. And I watch them too.
I really liked how thoughtful her boarding setup is, especially the window suites for anxious dogs.
And at no extra cost. Just making sure the dog feels calm and safe. That really speaks volumes.
And the fact that a dog who destroyed kennels elsewhere was completely relaxed at K9 Wonderland, it just shows how effective that approach can be. From there, we moved into routines and how they settle the dogs in for the night.
So our daycare ends at the last time you can pick up at 6:30 p.m. So about between 6 and 6:30, there's two handlers in there, and they start the process of getting the boarders ready for dinner. So all the dogs go out, and then they bring them back in. They put their whatever food or necessary things that they need to do at night into their kennel. We let them feed, and then we let them sit for 30 minutes. Not every dog can get bloat, but it's just a procedure we do just to settle them so there's no vomiting, there's no upset stomachs, etc. Then after that, the handlers will let them out about 6:30, 7 o'clock. They go back out and they play. They take them back outside, and then they play for the last hour, hour and a half. So while the handlers are cleaning and being with them, they are still playing and not sitting in a kennel. And then at about 8:30, 9 o'clock is when we put them into their designated kennels, depending on where it is. If it's the luxury, you turn the TVs on for them, turn the lights off. And then for standard, we play calming music for them and then just lights out as well as in there.
Her nighttime routine was so structured and intentional.
From feeding schedules to rest time and evening play, nothing is rushed. And it sounds very similar to what many of the dogs experience at home, which is so important for them to feel safe and secure.
Even during cleanup, the dogs are still engaged and cared for. That consistency really matters. And of course, working with dogs means there are always funny moments as well. So we had to ask Rachel if she could share one.
So we have live cameras in our facility. I'm 100% transparent. Anybody can watch that's a client. And I was talking to the groomer because we can see each other through a window and a door. And we were just talking about the next day, and the dogs pack around you. And we have this dog, Willow, and she is just still a puppy, but she likes to sit by your feet. And I honestly didn't feel her by my feet. Usually I feel her. And I went to turn around and she was right there, tripped over her, and I saved Willow's life and completely fell on my face in the daycare. So yeah, I still laugh about that to this day. All the dogs came and rushed to make sure I was okay, and then we had a good laugh about it.
The Willow story had me laughing, but also not surprised. Dogs always want to be right next to you, which is amazing, but it definitely keeps you on your toes.
So relatable if you own a clingy dog. And then all the dogs rushing over to her to check on her made it even better.
Exactly. Now, to wrap things up, we asked what advice she would give to someone who wants to start a dog daycare of their own.
Don't fall into the trap of worrying about what your competition is doing. They're going to copy you, the form of flattery. It took me about a year, year and a half for one of the daycares nearby that everything I do, they do. And at this point, if you want to do it, do it. My customers know me. They know that what I'm doing. Just don't get mixed up in what other daycares are doing. Do what you think is right, do what you think is best, and just be the best you can be.
Her advice was so real. Don't get caught up in what everyone else is doing. Focus on your values, your people, and what you believe is right.
And trust that authenticity will always stand out because you can't control what others do, only what you do. A huge thank you to Rachel for giving us a look into what thoughtful, compassionate dog daycare truly looks like. If you would like to check out her incredible daycare, the link will be in the description.
Yes, and this episode reminded us that daycare isn't just about keeping dogs busy, it's about building trust, honoring each dog's needs, and creating a space where they feel safe enough to be themselves.
And while we appreciate every like, every comment, and every sub, we thank each one of you who supported us. We aren't going to ask for them today. We want to say this instead. If your dog goes to daycare, take a moment to thank the people who care for them and keep your furry family members safe while we're away.
Until next time, remember, great care starts with patience, understanding, and love.